Good morning, everyone. Is this on? Hey. Hi, everyone. To learn a little bit more about our mission theme this year, we thought that we would interview the mission co-chairs, Katie Garman and John Legg. So I'm going to ask them a few questions just to learn a little bit more. You got a brochure in the mail if you got the mailing, and we saw the video, but hopefully this will help you kind of get to know it a little bit more. So I'm going to start by asking John a question. John, why are we having a mission theme this year?
I had an answer ready for this before we came this morning, and I had actually told Reynolds the answer that I was going to give, but I've come up with a different one. And part of, I think, the reason we're doing this theme is just this morning, listening to the kids and how they answered the question, who is my neighbor? And listening to Roger talk and sharing information about, and sharing a perspective about how important it is and how central it is to our identity as Christians to be with and love and be present with others. And then just listening to some folks who I don't know who they were, but were on our video sharing their thoughts about the importance of it. One of the powerful opportunities I think we have as a congregation is not only to learn how we might serve other folks, but how we also might be moved by that service.
And Katie, tell us again what the mission theme is, in case people haven't heard yet.
The mission theme this year is Who is my neighbor? Listening, learning, and living with our city.
And so why did we choose that theme?
So we chose this theme, as Roger said in the sermon, because rather than arbitrarily picking a problem to fix, we wanted to begin with listening. And we thought that through listening, we could learn more about our community and learn about some of the hopes and dreams and joys and gifts and also needs, and bring that back to our community so that we can move forward from there.
And tell us why you two in particular are excited about this theme. John?
I chaired the committee last year with Robin Langford, and they asked me this year if I wanted to chair the committee again. They asked me in the fall, and I wasn't sure because Robin did everything last year. Robin's up here. But then they told me that Katie Garman was going to be working with me, and I thought, that's exciting. And then they told me that Reynolds would be working closely with us, and I love his youth and excitement and enthusiasm, so that was enticing. But then they told me that every member of the congregation was going to be a part of the committee. I said, that sounds good. I like that idea. Everyone's going to be a part. Everyone's going to join us. The thing I'm most excited about is the most meaningful experiences I've had in this church have been in doing things in relationship with people of this congregation in service to others. The best example I can think, and the most recent example I can think, is the small group I participated in the fall, did a lunch and participated in a lunch and activity over at Henderson Towers, which is right around the corner from our church. When we first came up with the idea, I was a little intimidated by it. I wasn't sure how it was going to come together, how we were going to do that. It was a little bit scary to me, a little bit of a mystery to me, how it was going to come together, But like every other activity and every other event I've participated in this church, it came together so well. And everyone brought together their concerns and their love for others, along with the gifts and talents that they had as individuals. So some folks were just great at sitting and being with people and listening and talking. Other folks led in songs and hymn sings, and they were wonderful with that. They had great voices. They had me make hot dogs. So that was my talent, but it was just such a wonderful experience to be with people and to have that. And I'm excited to look forward to this coming year, not exactly knowing what the result will be, but being excited about the mystery and knowing when we've brought together people who are loving and concerned together with other people to experience that outside of our church as well as within our church is a really exciting opportunity.
And Katie, what are you looking forward to about this year?
I'm looking forward to a lot of things this year. I'm looking forward to leading the mission committee with John, and we're asking our mission committee for a lot of hard work and ideas, and I'm really looking forward to working with all of those folks, and also getting to know members in the congregation whom I haven't had an opportunity to work with yet as we move forward with our mission theme. I'm also really looking forward to being a better neighbor and learning more about what that involves and putting some of that into action with some of the service projects that we're going to do together this year.
One of the things that some folks might be concerned about is, does this mean that our other mission commitments will end for this year? Maybe you could answer that, John.
I think it's almost the opposite. We have such a wonderful history here of participating in such meaningful ministries and outreach. And I can think of so many examples, but the ones that come to mind immediately is our youth set a great example for us in so many of the activities that they're involved with. Or our IHN ministry has been such a central part of our relationship with others for so many years. So I see this as an extension and a growth of the ministries that we've had. And I hope for some folks it will be a refocusing or maybe a looking differently at the way we do things. But certainly we want to continue to do the things we've been done well in the past and hope to grow those in the future.
Thank you. And now the golden question, how can we get involved?
It's a great question, and there are a lot of good answers to that question. So you should have a copy of a brochure that you perhaps got in the mail this week and also in your bulletin today. And there are lots of things listed in that brochure about how to get involved. One, Reynolds will talk about is filling out our survey today, which would really help us and help us know you're interested. There are going to be dinners and discussions that we would love for you to attend. We have been talking a lot about how we think it's important for families to eat together and be together, and we'd like to extend that to our congregation. And it may be a little out of your comfort zone if it's not what you're used to, but come and join us for our dinners and discussions. We're going to need prayers for this mission theme this year, and you can all help with that. And there's going to be a lot of communication back and forth. This is going to be a learning year, so there are going to be ways to engage both with the community and what you're learning, and then bringing that back to the congregation. So the bulletin boards, there's a blog on the website that's already got some great stuff on it. There are lots and lots of ways to get involved, not to mention the service opportunities that will come with our theme this year.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Katie and John. Now what we're going to do, if you can take out the survey that you have in your bulletin. I actually don't have my, can I borrow yours, Fred? You don't have it? Okay. We're just going to walk briefly through this survey. If you didn't have a chance to already fill it out if you didn't have a chance to fill it out at home to bring it, this is the survey in your bulletin right here. You just fill out your name at the top. And the first section, these are the suggested topics for the dinners and discussions. So we'd like you to say if you have any experience in these different areas, such as housing and hunger and services for aging individuals. Now, this can be very broad. So just because you don't work at a homeless shelter, if you have any experience working with housing and real estate, that can be really helpful for learning more about the housing issues in Durham. So take a second right now just to fill out that section if you have any interest or experience in that. And like I said, if you it's not just experience, but interest. If you want to learn more about it and want to volunteer with these areas, check that section. So just take just a moment to fill that part out. And the next section, where it says, I'm gifted or interested in the following areas, these are the less specific topics, but these are the areas where we're going to go out and try to get to know people in the community and where we're going to plan other events. So if you would like to get involved in outreach and going into the neighborhoods and the surrounding areas, then fill that part out. If you have any experience with event planning, check that box. If you like doing research, check the next box after that. We also would love some help with some communication, such as videos or websites or social networking. So if you're good with techie kind of things, then check that part. And then if you'd like to pray for the mission theme, and we hope that everyone will do this in one way or another, please check that area. And then take a second. If you have any further comments, suggestions, or ideas, then fill out the next section after that. Okay, great. And now the last thing that we're going to do is a little interactive, brief activity. So the last part is a question, and it says, imagine Jesus were to visit Durham today. Where would he go to listen and learn? So discuss this with the person next to you. If you're sitting alone, then scoot over and have a little group of 3, and just talk about this question amongst yourselves. Okay, great. I guess you could talk about this for all day long. This is a really big question, and this is what we'll be talking about for the next year. But would anybody like to volunteer to share something that they just shared or that they just heard their neighbors share with them?
So we came up with some ideas like community centers, rescue missions, schools, and the downtown area.
Anyone else? The mall. Great.
Duke Medical School. Medical school.
The medical center. Great. Thank you. Anyone else? City council meeting. That's a great one. 2 more. Anyone else? The bus depot over here and jails. Great. 1 more. Did someone say everywhere? That's a good one to end on. Great. Everywhere. And that's a profound thing because there's a lot of places that do get neglected. So, great. Well, thanks for filling this out. And if you'll just put this in the offering plate, then we'll collect them, and then we'll be in touch with you about how you can get involved. And on the brochure, there's the link to the blog, and there's some contact information if you have any more questions. Thank you.
And sing the hymn on the middle panel of your brochure. This will be kind of our theme song for the year. And pay attention to the words. I think you'll know the tune. Pay attention to the words, and you'll see how this song reflects exactly what we're trying to be about as we begin a year of mission. Would you stand and sing?
Be seated.